Welcome back to Much More Ado About Nothing. I am Susan.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Francis on my cell phone. So welcome.
Hi, Francis. Who are you texting?
Oh, I wasn't texting. Well, I was actually texting my daughter. She just got her driver's license, and so I was making sure she arrived at her location safely because I'm still uncomfortable. I'm a newly bred parent with a daughter that has a license.
You've had the daughter for a while, but now
I've had the daughter for a while. The driver's license is new, and it's uncomfortable. It's sort of like she's driving over to a local area that I don't know. It's okay. It's okay, but I mean, I think that we want to say what is she going to that area for? She's going to practice tennis. So
cool. And hopefully she's not texting you while she's driving.
Yes.
So I guess if you don't get a text, it's probably because she's driving and probably not because she's ignoring you.
Yes, though I probably should have that talk with her.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
Make a note, do it later.
Yeah, write that down. Should I? And then so I'm just happy that that I don't have to drive. I was one of those dads that had to go everywhere.
Yeah.
But now I feel guilty. Like now I should be going everywhere. I'm never completely satisfied with where I wind up in this whole equation. Like I'll sit there and have to wait like 3 hours while she's playing tennis, which makes me feel real fat because I just sit there and do nothing.
What do you do for 3 hours?
Nothing. Sometimes, mostly, you know what I do? I actually do work like my job work. So I do that for like 3 hours, and so I do that in my car, or I'll do that. Sometimes I'll go to a McDonald's or somewhere, and I do work, and then but she's working out, and and I'm working. So that's no fun, especially on like a Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah. You made your parents driving you around all the time when you were a kid, right?
I don't know that I made them. I didn't have a choice.
You were very active.
Yeah.
In activities.
It's not like I was like, hey, Mom, get in the car. Like, I had no way to get to a place.
Hey, we gotta
go. My parents were chronically late to pick me up from every activity when I was a kid. Oh, I hated that so much.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing because I'd be like the last kid with the teacher who wants to go home. And my parents are, I don't know where.
Yeah, my daughter was that kid when I had to pick her up after work. Notice a lot of my life revolves around work. After work, I was the one that would pick her up, and she was always the last kid at daycare. She expressed that to me at the time, that she hated being the last kid at daycare.
Yep.
She hated it.
Yeah.
So
this is interesting because we were all the last kid to be picked up. We all ended up doing improv comedy. I wonder if there's any connection to that.
Well, I think that's a clear lesson for parents. I mean, pick your kids up all the time.
Or you're going to be stuck going to a lot of $10 a ticket shows when they're adults.
50, if there's wine involved.
Yeah.
The other thing is, my parents, mostly my dad, when he would pick me up, were the chronic late picker-uppers. So when I would do that to my daughter, I'm just getting you ready for disappointment. Because it's a perpetual thing. It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And in the future, it's not going to be any better. I mean, the Lyft driver will be late. Whatever.
Yeah, someone will be late.
Do you know any teens or anything that use Lyft even semi-regularly?
I don't think so. Yeah. I mean, I assume it's more common like in a big city. I feel like here they wouldn't.
Right. How many? I don't even know how many. I mean, I see Lyft cars or Uber.
I have taken Lyfts and Ubers around Northwest Indiana when I've been sort of stuck and unable to get a ride.
When you lock your keys in your car and.
Or you're out with
like a story here that I just don't want to go down.
Yeah, so they are available. Of course, in the city, they're everywhere. But here that we do have a handful.
Okay.
And they're hardworking people.
And hardworking people, absolutely.
I'm doing a commercial for Lyft.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to mention before I sneeze, um, is I'm trying not to sneeze. I'll be spending the whole episode trying not to sneeze now. The thing I wanted to mention is I'm trying to increase our internet footprint. So I've created a Twitter page for Much More Ado About Nothing, which
Great.
is the show we're doing, by the way,
That's
right?
the show.
That's the show we're currently
show we're doing
recording.
right
That's the show we're doing. And the so yeah, trying to increase our viewership, trying to figure out how to get people to. Now, first of all, the Twitter is Much More Ado, because I thought you don't want it too long. So
There's
it's
a
Much
character
More Ado.
limit anyway.
There is?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we wouldn't be able to fit the whole show name anyway.
Okay. Well, it's Much More Ado on Twitter. And so if you want to follow that, please feel free to follow that. But one of the ways I've done it when I've had Twitter accounts in the past, first is you follow King and he immediately follows you back.
Yep.
Our good friend King of King David
Yeah, everybody
Comedy.
follow us on Twitter, but also go follow King David Lane on Twitter. Why not?
Yeah, he's practically at one of those superstar level number of followers. But then now I followed people who maybe they're not from King's account, but just somehow they find you. Then Lisa Jones seems pretty innocuous, but Lisa sent me an email that says, "Hi." Where's the email?
Uh-oh.
That's a good start.
She said, "Hi, sunshine, heart, thumb up. Thanks for interest in me. In exchange, I want to share with you my private portfolio. It is fast and easy."
Hold on. Did she write out like heart, sunshine?
There were emoticons.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if that's how she did it.
Well, fast and easy, that's kind of your thing, right, Francis?
It is.
Wait.
I thought at first I was sort of like, oh, this is my usual Twitter account. And then I realized it was the Much More Ado.
So now we have viruses.
Yep.
So I went on her I went on her like postings history here. One was these are her hashtags. Cock slut, hashtag anal milf, and hashtag Phoenix.
Well, that one, is she in college?
I don't know, but she's waiting for guys older me who ready teach me something new. Well, I've got a couple of things I want to teach her, maybe grammar.
Yeah. Also, watch the show, Lisa Jones. You'll learn all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So
Free on YouTube.
I can't even believe I said the C slut word. That's just I don't like saying that word.
No.
I certainly don't want that in the younger Chippy that I am looking for. I mean, I just, how desperate do you have to be to click on this thing? I mean, is it the same dude that thinks the stripper is really into you at the strip club?
Probably, yeah.
Quite a lot of overlap.
First of all, I'm curious who writes these.
Yeah.
Just people trying to steal your credit card information.
Yeah. But I mean, like, who's like, a copywriter in the background, like, oh, I got one, boss. Let's post this.
Yeah. Like this one. Let me read you this one. I finally found a job where I am the boss.
Cool.
Well, good for you. I mean,
that's great news.
There's a lot of jobs available right now, so you should be picky.
Yeah, that's great. Good for them.
Good for you. I don't understand.
I like that our followers are having success in life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. Maybe she is a Lyft or Uber driver. She says, "Believe me when I'm saying I'm a true expert of delivering pleasure to people."
Oh.
Grubhub, DoorDash.
Yeah.
I think
a lot of people Taco Bell, a lot of people Chick-fil-A.
Yes, exactly.
That's very exciting. Now,
ice cream.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Now, obviously, this woman doesn't realize it's not just something between her and me, because she wrote this. And this is not just to me. This is just a general Twitter tweet. Time and time again, I have to pinch myself when I see you next to me. But we didn't meet back, so you're talking to somebody else. So already, not important.
possible that she watches our show, but then sits next to the computer. So then she's next to the three of us.
And
Maybe.
she
in
just
a
pinches
line.
herself the whole time.
I don't know. I don't know what people are into.
Do we have any followers who aren't bots?
Is this sort of like a Westworld bot thing you're saying?
Mhm.
I think so.
So, so I just want to say that be careful when you start following anybody on Twitter like I do, because I'm just trying to get our numbers up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Francis.
Just be
That's
careful.
awesome.
Just be careful. I just wanted to let you know that when Lisa Jones texts you, or Lisa, whatever her name was, texts you through Twitter, don't answer it. She's not my friend.
Okay. We've upset
She
all the
is-
Lisa Jones.
Yeah,
out there.
Lisa's just sobbing right now. She thought she had a connection with the show.
Okay, you know what? I
down.
take that back. If you can get us either some marital aids or 200 followers, you're okay.
Very good. Now,
Can you
Francis,
still call them marital aids?
Uh,
I don't think so.
I think they're just
Some people
they're just
might.
sex toys.
Yeah.
you already said the C word. Let's keep it.
I've clearly jumped the shark on it when it comes. I don't know. I should have said sea slut or something. Or
Yeah, but I would be like an ocean, like a mermaid slut.
I'm pretty stupid when it comes to those things too. I get you. Anyway, sorry, Ben.
Francis, you watch any movies lately?
I have, and one of them was funny you should ask. And one of them was the recent Amazon Prime release of Tomorrow War.
That's the Chris Pratt movie.
Right. That was originally going to be a theatrical release, but then Amazon.
Really?
I
They
think
were
I
gonna
know where
put that
Susan's
in
review is
theaters?
going.
I assumed, not to jump into this right away, but I assumed it was always planned for streaming.
From what I read, again, this is internet reading. So
Right.
this is a huge, not only spoiler alert, but nothing you can trust from the information because it's solely gathered from the internet.
Yeah.
You can trust any of. That's why our show should have a warning on it.
Yeah, to just stream the whole
filled
time.
with misinformation.
Yeah.
The show, the movie was allegedly targeted for theatrical release. But Amazon Prime, and who's that? Is that Bezos or who owns Amazon?
Bezos.
Yeah, came in
Bezos.
and they Bozos, whatever.
Bozos. Jeff Bezos.
Yeah, I'm like everybody's grandfather, like
Jeff Bezos sells a lot of marital aids.
I gotta go back and get some more coffee. I know that Red Bull for me. So, so Amazon Prime swooped in and paid $200 million
For this movie.
Yeah, that's what I read on the internet.
So they didn't produce it.
No,
They just bought it and threw it up for their exclusive Prime Video.
correct.
I see. So let's get into this film because we watched it the other night too, and it is a doozy.
It is like, I always say, and this is why I think you thought the same thing that I did, Susan, that this was a direct-to-video thing, is a lot of times with these direct-to-video or Netflix, especially, this is not Netflix, it's Prime, but it's like they're like they get a script that is like 3 rewrites away from being good.
Yeah.
But they produce it before they do the rewrites.
Right.
So it's got plot holes, problems, characters like that are just a mess, but they still make it anyway because they need content.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
are just looking for stuff to watch.
So is there anything about the movie that you guys liked? All right.
I mean, there were parts I thought were funny, but not because they were supposed to be.
Oh, I like, you know what? I would do this. I will say this. The special effects were good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought the aliens were well
Yeah.
CGI'd.
Yeah.
there was a couple shots of like, especially the fight at the end, that didn't look great, but other than that, I think they looked pretty good. And um, I will say the one thing that I really enjoyed in the film, and I wish had more of, was J.K. Simmons,
Oh yeah, I liked
who
J.K.
played his dad.
Simmons.
He was great.
He was great.
Yes.
And he knows exactly how to play like the the hard ass guy, ex-military, who just like knows a lot, but he was so sidelined in this movie, he was barely in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I really like him. He's a
It's
great
like
actor.
they had 2 days to shoot with him. They
Right.
did one set of scenes one day, and then somehow they decided to throw him into the finale.
Right. They're
And
like, let's bring
then
him back.
They
He was
bring him
cool.
in for that. So, yeah, that was sort of like what? Yeah, it was sort of the wasted character in that movie. And again, this is a big spoiler alert. We're going to talk about everything, so go watch it, come back, or
Yeah.
don't watch it. I mean, or listen to us and then watch it, and then just say we were right or wrong. I just think, okay, first of all, they knew the strong scene in this was the whole people falling from the sky, which
Yep.
I don't even know how anybody survives that, even if they
Right.
jump into a pool.
They literally slammed into concrete buildings.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a mistake at the beginning of the movie when they're all like transported to the wrong place and
Yeah.
they're falling through the sky for like a full minute before they hit something.
Yeah.
All of them would die. Even the
yeah.
ones that landed in that pool.
Yeah.
100% dead.
Dead.
Yeah.
But even if like it's supposed to work correctly, and you're supposed to come out 10 feet above, where you're actually
That's
supposed
still
to.
too high.
That's too high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
break a leg or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they keep dying, because they still have to fight these aliens with broken limbs.
Well, the whole, because like the plot of the movie
Yeah. Sure.
is that there's a war in the future where aliens have taken over Earth and we're about to be exterminated,
There's 500,000 humans left on Earth
Left. Yeah.
and so they
in
need
2048.
right, and so they need soldiers to come back from the past to help fight them. It's a very stupid idea,
Yeah.
because they start recruiting any
Right.
civilian to come and fight.
Yeah.
Who dies before 2048? I mean, I think
Yes,
Right.
they have to
it's
be
subtle.
dead before the war starts
To qualify for the
future,
draft.
to not create a time paradox.
Yeah, but you still do create a time paradox.
Then,
Right.
also, he goes to the future and meets his, spoiler alert, this is a big
Yeah.
spoiler. He meets his daughter. So then they talk and she instructs him how to change the past. So they're creating, like, what? This doesn't make any sense.
And like so he has 2 different timelines before we even get to him screwing up the timeline.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's just yeah, I'm pulling it all out because it makes no
Sure.
sense. The first thing is his first timeline is he goes to the first timeline he dies in 2030, i.e. he qualifies
Right.
go to
For the draft to go to the future.
Okay. 2. So at the very okay, so then 2, the aliens happen, they come back in time, so he qualifies, like I said, to go back to the future because he's supposed to die in 2030, so he goes to the war.
Yeah.
So obviously him dying in 2030 can't be in stone.
No.
Because he
Right.
doesn't die in the war when
Right.
like the casualty rate is like 99% or 95%.
Plus, like, he's supposed to have died in 2030, but now he exists in 2051.
Which is a paradox.
Right, but but allegedly they don't know if you're going to live or die. So they know that first timeline where he dies in 2030 is now an alternate timeline because he could die when he goes to the future. Anybody who they grabbed before could die and not die in what was the first timeline time. So now they've created a paradox.
Mhm.
Because they have a second timeline that is off of the first timeline. And so now he goes to the future and he happens to be one of those that survive. When he gets there, he meets his daughter who says, when you came back, you were a dick.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's something wrong with you. And you left us, which is the whole J.K. Rowling, like the whole similar story to that. She's like, I'm never going to do that. So So okay, so they create this character who would never have left his daughter in the first. I don't care how messed up he was, but somehow
No.
he does that. When he goes back in the second timeline, and then he dies in a car accident. He still dies the same way in the second world because he survived.
See, I thought in the first timeline that he doesn't go to the war. I thought he just grumpy
right, and dies.
And dies.
And then
dies. The war never happens in the first
second timeline.
Right.
Yeah. One. But then a third one is created, right? When he kills the aliens in Russia.
No, a third one's created when he goes, I'm going to go back in time and I'm going to right when he kills the alien ultimate. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's call it that's the third timeline. But there's actually would be a fourth in there because if he does that, then that other the timeline never existed. So it's like a fourth timeline.
Yeah.
And he wants to jump back to the other timeline to save the people. His future daughter.
Instead of going through a process that would prevent that war from ever happening, thereby saving everyone, he wants to instead go to the future and save 500,000 people and just all those billions of people that died, whatever.
Okay.
It's very confusing and doesn't make a lot of sense.
Now, again, okay, so the other thing is where in this future world, there's only 500,000 people left. They are on the brink of extinction. And I think it's not because of the aliens. I think it's because they're really effing stupid. Okay? Because these are just animals who are like, they're like supposed to be alien predator kind of killer. They're just like super killer, super badass. Okay? So they're not like, and anything other than just protecting the queen, that is their only drive and why they kill for food or protect the queen.
Like
so they're not like any organizational.
Yeah.
There's no sort of like, we're going to outflank the humans. We're going to do this.
I mean, all they do is protect the queens, really, I think.
Right. And eat.
And eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're down to 500,000 people. They have this massive water protection thing, which is obviously not really even a defense because the creatures come and attack it because some idiot decides to bring the queen to the middle of the last place where the humans are. At least have like a side place. You know what? We're going to put the alien queen not near the time machine. So in case this goes wrong, we could kill the queen or we could just kind of
extracted the queen's blood and then immediately shot her and left her in that cave.
Yeah.
They just needed her DNA. They didn't need the whole thing.
Right. Or just like you have a whole planet. There's probably another island somewhere. Put her on that island.
Yeah.
And I have a plan. Why don't you use that queen that you now have? All the other creatures are gonna and have a big trap for them. Nuke them.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just gonna come at you. So clearly in this alternate time where all the smart people were knocked out first.
Yeah, immediately dead.
They were just all killed at first.
Yeah.
No, it's funny because Chris Pratt he's an ex-military guy, of course, but then he becomes a science teacher and he's not happy in his job, right? Like that's his beginning
feels like
character.
He's meant to do something better.
Right. But he's the worst science teacher.
Yeah.
He's up there in a classroom trying to teach kids at the beginning of the movie. And they're like, yeah, we don't care about this.
But no, these kids are understandably disillusioned because they just found out that the world ends in 30 years.
Right.
So I get that. What I don't get is there's one kid who's still super into science, and Chris Pratt is like, "Shut up, nerd!" Like, what?
The worst
That's
teacher.
the one kid who cares about what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But he only knows about volcanoes.
Yeah.
I wonder why this kid is in the movie. I wonder if something important is going to come up about volcanoes later.
Yeah, and I love in the future when they like need advice about volcanoes, they like that kid, right? Mm-hmm. It's like we don't have. This is the current world where there are volcano experts.
Scientists, and you're going to ask a high school kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And that guy they're trying to works at a university, he could probably just go like down the hallway to another office and be like, "Hey, Ryan, tell me everything you know about volcanoes because you're a volcano expert."
Yeah, I do. It's called Google. This is what the writers of the screenplay probably did.
Man, so do you think if an alien race like this of just like essentially, aggressive dogs
Yeah.
were to land and start breeding and spreading, would that wipe out all humans?
You're saying they're like dogs?
I'm just saying, like, if these aliens were to actually attack, would they wipe out all humans?
Hmm.
Is that plausible? Because
Probably not.
I mean, they have several weaknesses,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I don't know.
Fire is a big weakness. Why'd they have guns? They should have just had flamethrowers.
Yeah.
Just
But
spray
I mean,
'em.
guns were effective. They killed.
But
many
you had
of them
to,
with
but you
guns.
could only shoot them in certain parts of their body to have it work. Whereas, like we saw when the fire was there, they all just burned up.
I don't know. It was very, very stupid. Like the
It
ending.
was so dumb.
The ending is so bad.
I couldn't suspend my disbelief and enjoy it as a movie because none of it made any sense.
I was in disbelief. I was actually watching the whole movie. That's
Yeah.
what
It
my
is
defense-
long. It's so long.
Yeah, it's that 5-act thing. They add that extra act, and you're like, holy
Yes.
crap, I don't care.
Yeah. When so he goes to the future and he gets his daughter and makes the virus or whatever to kill
Toxin.
the toxin to kill the aliens, and then she dies. And when she dies, he jumps after her, even though he knows that he's the only hope of like preventing the war.
Right.
And it's like, what are you doing? She's already dead.
Yeah. And and again with movies, they always add that extra final battle that you
Yes.
don't need. Because clearly in movie language, he could have gone back to the past. Everybody would have believed that he's got the virus. They would have believed everything he said, and the ending would have been, and then we killed the monster, bum, 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 and then
Right.
done. No, we have to then add the whole, we just can't believe you because, I don't know, we
Why? You
just
believed in
don't
time?
like you.
I believed in time travel,
Yeah.
aliens, everything.
There's
This
an-
is-
After the movie ended, there was another 40 minutes of movie.
Yeah, it's just it's a thing Hollywood likes to do where they add that extra act in when the movie is resolved, and then they add this other act in. Like, dude, it really is done. I don't need anything more.
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, we have to redo. We have to go and do it again
Yeah.
because clearly the queen is dead, and then they try to do that weird thing where the queen is dead in the future, but that one monster that he was battling was kind of maybe the queen who kind of said, I know you.
Mhm.
Right. Exactly. And that personal connection.
Yeah.
But if those aliens were to come to Earth, like I think it all depends where they would land. They land in like, I don't know, Chicago. They're getting gunned down.
Oh,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not
Yeah.
gonna do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way that. I mean, I guess the movie says they landed like 1,000 years ago or something, right?
Yeah. The same time a volcano erupted, they landed and then immediately got frozen into a
Yeah.
glacier, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The kicker for me is at the end of the movie, their plan is they're gonna go find the spaceship and get evidence. They're like, nah, let's just kill them now.
Right.
So they go into the spaceship and they use their toxin to kill the first like four aliens they
and then-
see, and which wakes up all the other aliens, and then they blow them up.
Thousands of them.
And so they just
They
why do
blow
you
them
just
up with a bomb.
why don't you just blow them up to begin with?
And then they let the queen out still. And this is where so when we're in the ship, we learn that these aliens aren't smart. They're just livestock.
Yeah.
They're not operating with any sort of plan. So they're pretty much just animals that have been brought here and then they're released. So then, knowing that they have no agency in this, we get to the scene where they kill the queen, and it's like torture porn. They like tear her apart to the point where I'm like, this is too much.
Susan
Like,
was getting visibly upset.
I was like, just kill her. You don't have it was really strange because I think I was supposed to be cheering for the humans and like really satisfied by this elaborate death, but I was like, I don't care. All you guys are dumb and you're just like now you're just torturing a cow to death essentially at the end of the movie.
it was gratuitous.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. Again, more dumb people. Obviously,
Mhm.
because some of them were from the future.
Yeah.
Obviously, they picked some of the dumbest people from the present to go with obviously the dumb people from the future.
Right.
And they had this great plan of wait, we have like maybe, I don't know, like 10 syringes of kill, and then we're just gonna
Yeah.
kill the ones we see here, but we're not gonna kind of like walk around the ship to see the million
Yeah.
that are down in the cargo
Yeah.
hold and steerage.
Right.
And they had 30 years. They had 30 years to get a plan together. And so they're like, no, we're just going to do it now. We're not going
Because
to worry
they
about
thought
it.
like the planet would not get together and kill these things. And I just think, I don't know, as much as I do believe, that there's a good chance that in reality we have like captured space vehicles, whatever. As soon as the military finds out in this world, they're going to be in there and they go, oh yeah, we're going to, but they might do the whole Alien 2 thing where they might want to keep one.
Right.
whatever.
Right. Well, that'll be the sequel because Amazon did say that they're going to make the sequel to this.
How?
God.
Time travel.
Oh my God. If they, for some dumb reason, a human's like, why don't we time travel to 2049 right after the war started just to see if we could beat them
Right.
on their playing field?
Yeah.
This universe is populated by the dumbest people. So yes,
Yeah.
they will absolutely do that.
Yeah. Well, obviously they're also populated by the dumbest people at Amazon.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this thing was even. I mean, obviously people are searching for content. I think that there is just no. And again, we're not going to do Black Widow yet. I haven't seen it, but obviously,
It's on.
I mean that may be good, but I'm just saying there is no content out. I mean, it's really devoid. Though I haven't seen that Quiet Place, which people say was good.
Oh, I liked The Quiet Place.
Yeah.
That was good.
The first and second. Well, I mean, the second one's not as good as the first one, but
It's still good.
it's worth a watch. It's better than this.
I thought Black Widow was good. That one did deserve a theatrical release. This, I cannot believe they ever even considered it.
Yeah.
They would lose so much money.
And it's one of those vehicles like Tom Cruise vehicles where they spend so they do that thing where they pay the main star Chris Pratt a lot of money. Then they do like the side character, which is J.K.
J.K. Rowling was in it as
J.K.
well.
Rowling says Harry Potter, and then J.K. Simmons, and then everybody else is like 3 notches down,
Right.
and again they're fine actors. I'm not critiquing the acting. I mean, shit. I mean, you just kind of show up at the green screen and do whatever. But
Yeah.
Right.
but you can tell that it's not like they have anybody else of that same level currently in their acting career.
Yeah.
Besides those two, and so it just becomes a little uneven to me. It's like Tom Cruise can never have like a really good leading lady anymore. It always has to be somebody they find at the.
They're not going to upstage him.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, exactly.
So I like bad movies.
Yes.
And I like good action movies.
Yes.
But this is neither of those.
Yeah.
This is it's trying to be a good action movie, but it's not bad enough to be super fun. And it was great to watch Susan watch this movie. We watched it together, obviously, and there are several times that she yelled at the television, why or what,
Because it
or
didn't
I
make
hate
any
this.
sense.
So much so that our cats were scared out of the room. So it is an emotional ride.
The cats give this movie 0 stars.
I think are things called the Mannies? Or what's our awards? Like how many Manny stars do you give them?
Oh, that's right. I would give this. Wait, is it bad to get a lot of Mannies?
The Mannies are good. So
Mannies are good.
How many
out of
Mannies?
5 Mannies being good.
Out of 5?
I'm gonna give this. I'll give it 1 Manny just for some of the special effects.
I'm gonna give it 2 Mannies, but they both go to J.K. Simmons.
You know what? I'm gonna just split the difference and go 1.5 Mannies because I like J.K. Simmons, who can make a piece of crap even look fun to watch.
Yeah.
He's just a solid. He's one of those like character actors who I get jealous of because I would love to have that same kind of talent and ability. And maybe we should review like movies. We could just do a J.K. Simmons episode of like parts I loved him in, which include Oz, and I loved him in Whiplash.
Yes.
And those commercials, Farm Bureau commercials.
The Farmers Insurance.
Farmers, yeah.
That's whatever.
He's also the voice of the yellow M&M.
Is he really?
Yep.
I did not know that. Oh my
Yep.
God, I'm gonna have to go back and watch all of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you're not where we just review M&M commercials.
yeah, but see, that's like a hardworking actor, man. He is,
He's good, yeah.
yeah. So cool. All right. Well, let's Well, I think that's maybe we should end this episode on that on a
Okay.
positive note.
Yeah, J.K. Simmons is good.
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He's always been good. So, all right. Well, Susan, Ben, remember to tell your friends to follow us on Twitter. Much more ado, and also hit the like button, everybody. Maybe send a comment, and we'll catch up with you later.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Or if this was working.